The Dutch GP just went on to emphasize the dominance of Red Bull that started after the third race in the season, and Ferrari just didn't have the answer for that. However, certain events have transpired that made us think, are Red Bull working in a controversial way with AlphaTauri? Recent events that transpired at the Dutch GP made us think that the team may have forced Tsunoda to retire in order to secure Verstappen's dominant win, which this time was endangered by Mercedes' drivers and not Ferrari ones. However, is this truly something that Red Bull has done, given the fact that they weren't endangered by their fiercest rival Ferrari, or is this just a thing or two that the conspiracy theorists love to chat about? Stick around with us to find out more. Red Bull has dominated the Belgian GP, but even they were aware that this kind of dominance cannot continue throughout the next race. This is why Verstappen's pole position was truly a narrow one, as he managed to squeeze it by just 0.02 seconds ahead of Leclerc and just 0.09 seconds past Sainz, who finished P3. However, the race pace of the Red Bull was again phenomenal, and Verstappen didn't have any trouble in holding back the Ferrari and the rest of the pack behind him. However, Mercedes has found a way to challenge Ferrari, and it was mostly through tactics. Both of their cars started on the medium tyre, and we've seen that they were able to last a good amount of laps. Throughout the season, we saw that Mercedes is particularly good on the hard compound tyre, which was implemented on this track yet again. Hamilton and Russell stopped for the hard compound tyre, and when they started to gain time on Verstappen, who had a bit older medium compound tyres, the Dutchman told his team to keep an eye on the Mercedes cars and possibly change the tactic mid-race. The VSC that was caused by Yuki Tsunoda is what caused all of the controversies during the race. Tsunoda stopped in the middle of the track, saying that his tyre is not bolted properly. However, when he got unbolted, his team told him that everything is alright and that he needs to continue to the pits right after he came out of it. Tsunoda was fitted with a new pair of tyres and the seatbelts were bolted on properly. The team at this time said that nothing is wrong with the car, but when Tsunoda exited the pit stop, it seemed like something was indeed wrong with the AlphaTauri car, and he was instructed to stop at the side of the track and turn off the car. This triggered the virtual safety car, which allowed Verstappen to have one free pit stop at lap 49. He then jumped on the hard compound tyre, while Hamilton and Russell changed for the medium compound tyre. Toto Wolff and Mercedes believe that this was done intentionally so that Verstappen could secure the win without any problems on the way of doing so. However, he also said that, with the safety car coming at lap 55 when Bottas's car just stopped in the middle of the track, it was highly unlikely that the Mercs would have been able to fight with Max Verstappen. Yet, the question has to be asked, what happened with Yuki? Also, is there a possibility that Red Bull and AlphaTauri have worked together in order to make this happen? The answer is probably no. I mean, the team is leading over 100 points in both championships, and Max was yet again on another planet. True, Mercedes found some decent pace, but they weren't a match for the Flying Dutchman in any way possible. Second, even if the VSC didn't happen, the safety car at lap 55 did, and then all the teams would have been brought together in close racing. We've seen how Verstappen just flew past Hamilton right at the restart, without DRS, using the split stream only. True, the Briton hasn't put the car in the desired mode for the restart, but he is also to be blamed for another thing, which is not asking to be pitted just like his teammate Russell did. That way, Russell was able to climb to P2 and pass his teammate, while Hamilton fell to P4 after the restart, prior to which he was P1. Nevertheless, Yuki and his team were asked about the situation, and they said, "I thought there was an issue, and the engineers didn't see anything in the data, so I came back again, we fitted a different set of tires, and after that pit stop, the engineers saw the issue in the data. That's why we stopped. Tire was not the issue in the end, I think," said Tsunoda before confirming that it just felt as though the tires were loose. AlphaTauri's chief engineer, Claudio Ballestri, spoke about the situation and explained the sequence of events happening. After the pit stop, he reported something strange at the rear of the car. We called him in again to change the tires, and immediately after we had a car failure. This is currently under investigation within the team, finished Claudio. However, Wolff had some words to say to Tsunoda and AlphaTauri as a team, saying that it would have been a much closer contest hadn't it been for this shenanigan. Tsunoda stopping on the track, restarting, coming back with seatbelts not on, starting the car up again and breaking down half a lap later, speechless, said Wolff, who seemed to have waken up the reality side of the character afterwards and said that even without this, Mercedes wasn't going to win the race properly. If Tsunoda doesn't roll into the pit lane without a seatbelt and they start him again, then Verstappen will come out 8 seconds behind Lewis. Who knows? We probably wouldn't have won it, but it would have been a different situation, finished Wolff. Wolff has gone to the matter saying that this needs to be investigated, and if Mercedes was in the championship fight with Red Bull, they wouldn't have been left like it was after the race. I'm so focused looking at us at the moment in terms of where we need to find performance. If we were to fight for the championship, that would be something I would closely look at. Now, what I think needs to be investigated for the safety of drivers and everybody out there is the driver stopped, unbuckled, did a full lap, came in, the problem was not solved, then they put the seatbelts back in and he drove out and stopped the car again. That probably has changed the outcome of the race that maybe we could have won. But in this sport, maybe or not, it is irrelevant. For me, I'm not thinking about that anymore, it's gone. The simulations said Max would have come out 8 seconds behind us with 20 laps to go, but it was obviously he would have probably pitted on the hard at that time, and I think we would have had a fair shot at winning the race, said Wolff. Making the statement is a pretty bold move for Wolff, and although Mercedes were definitely strong and had much more pace compared to Spa, winning the race was barely an option for them. Unlike that, they could have secured yet another P2 and P3 finish with good tactics, only if they chose to pit Hamilton for a new set of tyres. That way, the Briton would have been able to defend this P2 position, or at least lose it to his teammate George Russell, who was following him at P3. Nevertheless, Mercedes is back in the game, and we are glad to see a proper fight happening in the front. The Brackley-based team has found the pace they were desperately missing in the past couple of races, especially in Spa, and that has resulted in Russell receiving his highest season finish in P2. On the other hand, Mercedes fans were very criticizing Hannah Schmidt, who is the chief of tactics in Red Bull. On social media, we saw a lot of negative comments towards her, and that is why AlphaTauri has come up with a statement that they are condemning any kind of behavior that is hurting Hannah or any other human being. Lewis Hamilton was also defensive-oriented towards the chief of tactics in Red Bull, saying that the sport doesn't have a place for this kind of hatred. After all, Mercedes is to be blamed for Hamilton's race ending the way it did. We all saw what George Russell did, and it has become evident that Hamilton relies too much on his team in the past couple of seasons. A factor that could add to this narrative is that he's used to not competing against his teammate. And now for the first time since 2016, he does have a teammate that is willing to prove himself and is outperforming him on a regular matter. With that being said, what do you think about this situation? Do you think that Red Bull has cheated, or that is just another conspiracy theory for the people who don't have anything smarter to say regarding the dominance of the Austrian team? Let us know in the comments below.